Hello and thank you for tuning into News Today, where we break down the day's top stories with precision and clarity. Without delay, take a look at the headlines first. Reserve Bank of India approves surplus transfer of Rs 2.11 lakh crore to government for financial year 24. Australia reports its first human avian flu infection case. National Green Tribunal's judgement on coastal regulation zone released. BIMSTEC acquires legal personality after charter comes into force. 3 cities in India ranked in top 50 cities for startups worldwide. Spain becomes 99th member of International Solar Alliance. In the very first news, the Reserve Bank of India has approved transferring a massive surplus of Rs 2.11 lakh crore to the central government for the upcoming 2023-24 fiscal year. The surplus payment is a staggering 140% higher than the previous year's transfer. The huge payout is based on the RBI's revised economic capital framework, which governs a central bank's risk provisions and profit distributions. The RBI has also decided to increase the contingency risk buffer, or CRB, to 6.5% of its balance sheet for 2023-24, up from the 6% level last year. CRB is the fund kept for unforeseen contingencies like depreciation of securities values, risk from monetary rate policy, etc. Now let's look at the surplus transfer and ECF. As the manager of government finances every year, the RBI pays a dividend to government to help with the government's finances from its surplus profit. To support this, Section 47 of the RBI Act 1934 mandates that any profits made by the RBI from its operations be sent to the centre. And the ECF provides a methodology for determining the appropriate level of risk provisions and profit distribution to be made under Section 47 of the RBI Act 1934. RBI constituted a committee headed by Bimal Jalan to review the 2015-16 ECF in 2018. RBI also has to maintain a CRB within a range of 6.5 to 5.5% of the RBI's balance sheet. Furthermore, here are some ways by which RBI earned its profit. The RBI earns profits from activities like open market bond operations, wherein a central bank purchases or sells bonds. Apart from that, it earns from interest received from bonds, returns on foreign currency assets, and lastly, from lending to banks for very short tenures. In conclusion, the RBI's record Rs 2.11 lakh crore surplus transfer demonstrates its intent to share more profits while maintaining adequate risk buffers. In our next news, Australia has reported its first human case of avian influenza, also known as bird flu. A child under 5 years old has tested positive for H5N1 strain of the virus after being exposed to sick birds on a poultry farm in eastern Australia. Avian influenza refers to the disease caused by infection with avian influenza type A viruses. Influenza A viruses are divided into subtypes on the basis of 2 proteins on the surface of the virus, hemagglutinin and neuraminidase. They are further categorized into different subtypes such as H5N3, H5N8, etc. Another basis of its categorization is on the basis of severity. It is categorized into 2 types: low pathogenicity and high pathogenicity avian influenza. In particular, the H5N1 is a high pathogenicity avian influenza, and so the concerns are prominent. These viruses are carried or transmitted by migratory wild birds, especially waterfowl, which are natural reservoirs of avian influenza viruses. Now, let's shift our focus to the associated concerns with the spread of H5N1. While this Australian H5N1 case appears to be an isolated incident so far, there are significant concerns about the potential for wider spread of bird flu viruses going forward. Climate change is altering migration patterns of wild birds that can carry and transmit these viruses over long distances. The influenza viruses are also constantly mutating, which can lead to the emergence of new viral strains that may be more transmissible or severe. A mutation is a change in the genetic sequence of an organism. The global trade and transport of live poultry and poultry products also creates risks if proper biosecurity measures are not enforced. Beyond the human health impacts, major bird flu outbreaks have caused billions in economic losses for the poultry industry due to required culling of flocks and implementing strict containment protocols. To combat these issues, several steps have been taken. At the global level, we have Global Influenza Surveillance and Response System, which is WHO Global Laboratory System, that identifies and monitors strains of circulating influenza viruses and provides advice to countries on their risk to human health and available treatment or control measures. And the World Organization for Animal Health, an international organization that collaborates across nations to enhance animal health, is also at play. In terms of our national initiatives, National Action Plan for Prevention, Control and Containment of Avian Influenza, revised in 2021, outlines the steps to manage a confirmed notifiable avian influenza outbreak. Additionally, the World Organization for Animal Health approved India's self-declaration of freedom from highly pathogenic avian influenza in specific poultry compartments in 2023.
Moving on to the next news. In a major development concerning the coastal zones of our country, the National Green Tribunal's Southern Bench has issued a significant judgment. Let's dive into the details. The National Green Tribunal has directed an immediate halt to the Chennai Shoreline Renourishment and Revitalization Project, which includes the construction of a cycle track and a food court. The reason? This project falls within the Coastal Regulation Zone 2 area where such activities are prohibited. But what exactly is the aim behind this project and why was it proposed in the first place? The Chennai Shoreline project was envisioned to achieve the Blue Flag certification for the city's beaches. The Blue Flag is a voluntary globally recognized eco-tag awarded by Foundation for Environmental Education to environmentally friendly and clean beaches, marinas and boats. However, the National Green Tribunal has made it clear that authorities must obtain approval from the State Coastal Zone Management Authority before undertaking any activity on the beaches apart from cleaning and removing encroachments. To better understand the context, let's explore the broader framework of coastal regulation zones. The Coastal Regulation Zone notification was first issued in 1991 by the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change under the Environment Protection Act of 1986. It was later replaced by the CRZ notification of 2011, reviewed by the Shailesh Nayak Committee, and the CRZ notification of 2019. The 2019 notification requires states to update their coastal zone management plans, which were created as per the 2011 notification. But how are these coastal regulation zones classified, and what are the institutional mechanisms in place? The CRZ notification classifies coastal areas into various zones. CRZ 1A covers ecologically sensitive areas like mangroves and salt marshes, while CRZ 1B is the intertidal zone between low and high tide lines. CRZ 2 constitutes developed land areas up to the shoreline within existing municipal limits or designated urban areas. CRZ 3 encompasses relatively undisturbed rural areas and those which do not fall under CRZ 2. And CRZ 4A covers the area between the low tide line and up to 12 nautical miles on the seaward side. CRZ 4B is applicable to tidal influenced water bodies. Institutionally, there is a National Coastal Zone Management Authority at the union level, state or union territory coastal zone management authorities in every coastal state or union territory, and district level committees in every district with coastal stretch. The National Green Tribunal's judgment underscores the importance of striking a balance between development and environmental conservation in our coastal areas. As we progress, it is crucial to ensure that our growth does not come at the cost of fragile ecosystems that sustain us.
In our next news, the Bay of Bengal Initiative for Multi-Sectoral Technical and Economic Cooperation, or BIMSTEC, has acquired legal personality and international standing with its foundational charter formally coming into effect. The BIMSTEC Charter was adopted at the grouping's 5th summit held in Sri Lanka in 2022. However, it required ratification by all 7 member states before taking force. This process was completed on May 20, 2024, when Nepal became the final country to endorse the charter. Let's delve further and learn more about BIMSTEC Charter. The BIMSTEC's charter is a foundational document which enshrines the organization's principles, goals, and governance structure. Crucially, it also confers legal personality on BIMSTEC, allowing it to enter into agreements, acquire properties, and be a party to legal proceedings. This paves the way for expanded external partnerships as well as granting observer status and admitting new members. To understand further, BIMSTEC was established in 1997 with the signing of the Bangkok Declaration. Its members include Bangladesh, India, Sri Lanka, Thailand, Myanmar, Nepal, and Bhutan. and its secretariat is located in Dhaka, Bangladesh. It was created to enable an environment for rapid economic development and social progress and maintain peace and stability in the Bay of Bengal region. For India, a strong and active BIMSTEC aligns with its neighbourhood first and Act East policy priorities. The Bay of Bengal grouping bridges South and Southeast Asia, giving India greater engagement avenues across the region. BIMSTEC would also provide an alternative platform, especially after dysfunction of SAARC since 2016. However, BIMSTEC's progress has faced challenges over its years of existence. These include strained internal relations between some members, for example, the conflict between Bangladesh and Myanmar over the Rohingya refugee crisis, and the India-Nepal border issue, etc. Apart from that, the absence of a concrete free trade agreement and overall slow institutional and organizational progress poses serious concerns. In conclusion, the BIMSTEC Charter's entry into force enables the grouping's long-awaited institutionalization and opens new opportunities for regionalism. But robust political will among key members remains essential for realizing its potential.
Moving ahead in the news, in an exciting development for India's thriving startup ecosystem, 3 of our cities have earned prestigious spots among the top 50 startup cities globally, according to the recent 2024 rankings released by PitchBook, a renowned private organization. Mumbai has secured an impressive 32nd rank, while the garden city of Bangalore closely follows at 34th position. Gurugram has also made its mark, ranking 40th on the coveted list. But what exactly defines a startup, and how does India fare in this dynamic landscape? A startup is an entity working towards innovation, development, or improvement of products, processes, or services with a scalable business model and must be less than 10 years old and have an annual turnover not exceeding 100 crore rupees. Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade, Ministry of Commerce and Industry recognize businesses as a startup. Notably, India boasts the third largest startup ecosystem in the world and has an impressive record of 114 unicorns as of March 2024, with a unicorn being a startup business valued at over $1 billion. India's startup success can be attributed to several key factors. Major corporations are increasingly connecting with startups, recognizing their potential for innovation. Additionally, India's rich talent pool of skilled engineers and developers has fueled the sector's growth. The digital revolution has also played a pivotal role, enabling startups to reach a vast and diverse consumer base. Moreover, India's large demography provides a vast market for these innovative ventures to thrive. The rise of startups has brought significant benefits to the Indian economy. Startups have contributed to the creation of more than 12 lakh jobs, fostering employment opportunities across various sectors. They have also driven an increase in number of patents, showcasing their commitment to innovation. Furthermore, startups have attracted foreign funding and democratized consumption, making products and services accessible to a broader segment of the population. However, challenges remain, and the government has taken steps to address them. Startups often face hurdles such as limited access to finance, poor revenue generation, lack of mentorship, and tight regulations related to intellectual property rights. To counter these challenges, the government has launched several initiatives, including Startup India by the Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade, Atal Incubation Centers by Niti Aayog, Startup Grants under Nidhi Program by the Department of Science and Technology, and the Marg Portal for Mentorship, Advisory, Assistance, Resilience and Growth of Startup India by DPIIT. As India's startup ecosystem continues to flourish, the recognition of our cities on the global stage is a testament to the nation's entrepreneurial spirit and commitment to innovation. Moving on to the next news. Spain becomes the 99th member of International Solar Alliance. The International Solar Alliance, or ISA, is a treaty-based intergovernmental organization that serves as an action-oriented, member-driven platform for the increased deployment of solar energy technologies. It was jointly launched by India and France in 2015 on the sidelines of COP21 of the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change in Paris. It was officially established in 2017 with the entry into force of the ISA Framework Agreement. With the amendment of the Framework Agreement in 2020, all member states of the United Nations are eligible to join the ISA. The ISA is guided by the Visionary Towards 1000 strategy, which aims to mobilize $1,000 billion of investments in solar energy solutions by 2030. provide energy access to 1,000 million people, and facilitate the installation of 1,000 gigawatt of solar energy capacity. In 2021, the UN General Assembly conferred observer status to the ISA. ISA has its headquarters in Gurugram, India. The significance of the ISA lies in its mission to ensure a just energy transition through solar energy by facilitating technology transfer, mobilizing finance, and more. Additionally, the ISA, along with initiatives like Global Biofuels Alliance and Coalition for Disaster-Resilient Infrastructure, serves as a mechanism for India to assert its soft power on the global stage. The ISA has spearheaded numerous initiatives, including the One Sun, One World, One Grid project, which aims to connect regional grids through common grid for the transfer of renewable energy power. Furthermore, the Global Solar Facility focuses on catalyzing solar investments in underserved areas across Africa, while the Solar Technology Application Resource Center or STAR-C initiative supports capacity building efforts. Also, development of large-scale solar power projects under Solar Park concept in cluster or group of ISA member countries fosters the initiatives. Spain's entry into the International Solar Alliance further solidifies the organization's global reach and underscores the collaborative efforts towards sustainable energy solutions. The place in news for today is Kyrgyzstan with its capital Bishkek. It is in the news as recently violence has erupted in Kyrgyzstan with mobs targeting hostels housing students from India, Bangladesh and Pakistan. Talking about its political features, the country is located in Central Asia. It shares boundaries with Kazakhstan in northwest and north, China in the east and south, Tajikistan in the south and Uzbekistan in the west. It is a landlocked country. If we talk about its geographical features, its highest peak is Victory Peak. Its major rivers are Sirdarya, Naran and Chu River. Its major lake is Ozero Isaac Kul, which is also the second largest saline lake after the Caspian Sea. Gold, coal, oil and natural gas are some natural resources found there.
As we conclude today's main news, let's take a look at some quick updates. Political scientist Ian Bremmer defines a geopolitical recession as a situation where established global power frameworks are crumbling. According to him, like economic recession, geopolitics have boom and bust cycles too. During geopolitical recession, responding to a crisis becomes significantly more challenging due to the decreased resilience of political institutions. Ministry of Commerce and Industry shared certain items to Ministry of Finance to address inverted duty structure. It refers to situation where import duties on import goods are higher than on finished goods. In other words, the GST rate paid on purchases is more than the GST rate payable on sales. SAM pilot models are recently launched in Telangana. SAM is a sustainable water management technique. It involves drilling shallow water borewells to pump out water. The underneath layers are recharged during rainfall, causing the rise in water tables. Malaysia is aiming to improve its environmental image by putting forward orangutan diplomacy, a type of animal diplomacy. It involves giving or lending animals as a sign of friendship or goodwill between countries. Wildlife authorities in Himachal Pradesh have started a survey to estimate the population of the Himalayan ibex along with blue sheep. It is a goat with sweeping horns. It is found above the tree line in the Himalayas up to 5,500 meters. Recently, a plane of Singapore Airlines experienced severe mid-air turbulence. One of the primary kinds of turbulence is called the clear air turbulence and it is caused by wind shear. India has initiated discussions with Sri Lanka to acquire graphite mines. It is among 30 critical minerals declared by India. Graphite is a stable form of naturally occurring carbon. Jagannath temple located in Puri, Odisha is dedicated to Lord Vishnu along with his brother Lord Balbhadra and sister Devi Subhadra. It is built on a raised platform and interestingly, no shadow of the temple falls on the ground at any time of the day. The idols of the Holy Trinity are carved out of wood rather than stone or metal idols. Before we sign off, let's challenge your understanding in today's installment of Test Your Knowledge. We appreciate your company. We hope you found this episode of News Today engaging. For the solutions to the quiz and to access the PDF version, remember to visit the provided links in the description below.